This episode of the Ageless and Awesome podcast is sponsored by the Radiant Reset Hormone Detox Guide for Perimenopausal Women. As a woman in the modern world, our hormones are taking a battering. They're impacted by the food we eat, the toxins we're exposed to, such as when we eat out of plastic takeaway containers, or even worse, reheat food in them. Please don't do this. If you're handling FPOS receipts, filling the car with fuel, eating non-organic produce that hasn't been washed effectively, plus so much more things add to our toxic load every day. Even though our bodies are designed to effectively manage toxins, they haven't evolved as quickly as our toxic world has, unfortunately. So our body does need support. Symptoms such as stubborn weight gain, fatigue, disrupted periods, irritability, and gut health issues can be a sign that you'd benefit from a gentle detox. And that's why I developed the Radiant Reset Hormone Detox Guide for Perimenopausal Women. This free guide has an abundance of information to get you started on your very own DIY detox. And if you'd like to upgrade to VIP, it's only $47 for a limited time. I used to sell this program for $247. The upgrade gives you the recipes, including plenty of plant-based options, the meal planner, the shopping list template, the video workshop, and so much more. Click the link in the show notes to learn more now. Take care of your hormones. They are a critical part of your health as a woman. Hi, I'm Susie Garden, and this is the Ageless and Awesome podcast. I'm an age-defying naturopath and clinical nutritionist, and I'm here to bust myths around women's health and aging so that you can be ageless and awesome in your 40s, 50s, and beyond. The Ageless and Awesome podcast is dedicated to helping women through perimenopause and menopause with great health, a positive mindset, and outrageous confidence. Hit subscribe or follow now, and let's get started. Hello, gorgeous one, and welcome to Q&A Thursday with me, Susie. And today's question actually cropped up in a presentation that I gave yesterday. I gave a presentation to a group of psychologists at the All About Her Center. And one of the questions that came up was regarding food intolerances. And I thought, well, if it's coming up in this forum, it might be something that you guys are interested in as well. So is there a link between perimenopause or menopause and food intolerances? And in fact, there is. There can absolutely be an increase in food intolerances at this time in a woman's life. And there's a couple of mechanisms through which this happens. One of the main ones is that the hormonal changes that go on have an impact on what we call our gastrointestinal motility. So what that means is just the speed at which the food goes through the gut, the intestines, etc. So what happens is that, and this is probably, they believe, because again, there's not a lot of research on this, but it's believed that the menopause-associated or perimenopause-associated food intolerance has multiple causes, and it might be probably, they think most logically it's related to changes to the microbiome, which we know happen, plus any dietary changes that might be going on, changes to activity levels, sleep, which we know can be very, very disrupted in women in their 40s and 50s and beyond, and other factors. And also stress is another one that came up in some of the research that I was reading. And the thing is that when people think about food intolerances, they tend to think about diarrhea and bloating, right? But there are so many symptoms of food intolerance, and I think it's really good to be aware of this, that it can be things like brain fog, it can be itchy skin, it can be rashes, it can be, like so many different things, weird symptoms. So if you're getting kind of weird symptoms, joint pain, actually, it's the other one I was trying to think of, that can come up. So if you're getting symptoms like that and you haven't had them before, it's really worth kind of looking into it and thinking, what could this be? Could this be a food intolerance? And the top 3 foods that people can be intolerant to tend to be gluten, dairy, and eggs. So as I was explaining to the group yesterday, something very simple you can do that costs nothing is to do a little test elimination for yourself. So you could eliminate gluten for 2 weeks. And if you feel better, what I recommend that you do is go and talk to your healthcare professional about getting some testing done to make sure that you're not celiac. Because if you go off gluten and you haven't had the testing done, it's very difficult to get a positive test because the inflammation in your body will be gone. So if you want to get diagnosed, and I strongly recommend that you do get a diagnosis and either get it ruled out or tested, and then you have it, and then can get information on what to do about it, then I think that's really important. So gluten is one. And then, if you're finding you're feeling no different, then eliminate dairy. And I would not bring gluten back in. Just keep off gluten for this period of time that we're doing the testing. The testing, I mean the elimination. So then, you do a couple of weeks without dairy, which I know sounds hard. There's plenty of substitutes you can use. And when I say no dairy, I mean no dairy. And that's including things like lactose-free dairy. We want to go off it completely because it may not be the lactose component. It might be the casein component, which is the protein element in dairy. So if you go off dairy for 2 weeks and you don't feel any different, try eggs and then slowly start to bring things in, because when you reintroduce the gluten or reintroduce the dairy, that's when you might actually go, oh, I do feel worse on this. And if you tried those 3 and you're not getting anywhere, then I suggest maybe, again, chatting to your healthcare practitioner, looking at perhaps getting some testing done so that you can identify what the food intolerance is and avoid it for a good 6 to 8 weeks while undergoing some good gut healing protocols. Now, as a practitioner, I tend to use supplementation because I can get a result quickly and because I know what the dosage is. Otherwise, if you want to DIY it, I recommend getting some good quality must be organic, bone broth, and using that. You can use collagen supplements that will help with gut healing as well, but that also looking at what the underlying cause is. So if you have a lot of stress in your life, working on your stress management, because otherwise the problem's just going to come back. So you want to work on your stress management. You want to look at, what's my lifestyle like? Am I moving enough? Am I eating a good quality whole food diet, or am I eating a lot of processed foods? And a good way of looking at this, I heard this on a podcast the other day and I thought, oh gosh, I forgot about framing it like this. If you're doing the majority of your shopping on the outside, part of the supermarket, that's where all the good stuff is. That you won't find a lot of processed food on the outside walls. Oh, when I say outside, you know what I'm talking about, right? If you're going into the center aisles, that's where all the ultra processed foods are. You want to avoid that as much as you can. All right, you're wanting to get lots of fresh fruits, veggies, good quality breads, ideally a 100% rye bread because it's an anti-inflammatory grain. Obviously, if you have gluten issues, that's not going to be suitable. But yeah, all of the good quality whole foods tend to be on the outside of the supermarket. I don't know how to say it without saying like it's outside the supermarket. You know what I'm talking about. On the outer perimeter of the inside of the supermarket. And so if you're spending if you look at your shopping trolley and the majority of it's from the internal kind of aisles, then you're probably having too much processed food, and that is absolutely going to contribute to issues with food intolerances because it promotes increased intestinal permeability, aka leaky gut. And leaky gut is generally what the issue is when we have food intolerances. So I hope that's been helpful. I feel like I've rambled on a little bit today, but I hope that's been helpful. If you want me to do a more proper kind of longer podcast on this, please do let me know. You can email me at hello@susiegarden.com, or you can message me on Instagram at Susie Garden Wellness. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will be back on Tuesday with some more fresh content. Thanks so much for joining me today on the Ageless and Awesome podcast. If you liked today's episode, please make sure you click the little plus button if you're on Apple Podcasts, or the follow button if you're on Spotify, so that you get each new episode delivered to you every week. If you like free stuff, then head to the show notes and click the link to receive my free Radiant Reset Hormone Detox Guide for perimenopausal women. Or if you'd like to continue the discussion, head over to Instagram and DM me at Susie Garden Wellness. I'd love to connect with you.